Madden holiday is here and we will play all night. Calling sick and sound sincere, in tackles will delight. The fridge is packed with drink and meat, the taste of victory sure is sweet.
We had another 500 week. At least I didn't wind up getting a losing record again. I mean, Texas Tech came up short against TCU in a game that used to be termed a blowout, but times sure have changed recently, haven't they? Louisville managed to complete a big comeback win over Boston College, and Western Michigan blew out Kent State in what I'm sure was a big shock there. In other bits of action, Ohio managed to beat Buffalo, so I believe that's changed the standings, so that now I believe the Bobcats are in the driver's seat to make the MAC championship game. On the NFL side, the Patriots managed to squeak out a win over the Jets, so I obviously lost that one, but I'm okay taking the L here. I mean, the Patriots really kind of needed the victory. And yes, the Vikings did lose to the Rams on Thursday. I had a feeling that could maybe be a trap game. I especially didn't expect Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp to return from the injury list. But still, we have no other choice but to continue to worship Deathmate now.
All hail Deathmate. 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 All hail Deathmate.
Also, Detroit blew out Tennessee in a game I actually got backwards, as my capture footage said the game was in Nashville when it was in Detroit. Yeah, that was really the only interesting point I could make about the game. I really wish I had maybe covered like Green Bay and Jacksonville or Chicago versus Washington. At least there would I have more stories to tell. But I remember I needed the Titans in order to complete coverage for every NFL team, and I've done that now. So, yeah, don't be surprised if we start getting a lot of teams back-to-back towards the end of the season here. Anyway, the games we're covering this week include San Diego State taking on Boise State, Oregon taking on Michigan, and Florida taking on Georgia. Then on the NFL side, we have the LA Chargers taking on Cleveland, Jacksonville taking on Philadelphia, and Tampa Bay taking on Kansas City, which I believe is a Monday night game. Okay, so we'll be right back after the break to start covering these things.
Hey, little dude, send your mama and daddy out of the room. I gotta get you up on this. You know who I am, Snake. Dealing in weed, coke, crack, your choice. Take one hit and you'll do anything to cop more. Steal from your mama, lie, cheat on your homeboys. But hey, that's the price you pay when you deal with dudes like me. Now, some folks will tell you that I'm dealing in poison. But hey, do I look like the kind of guy that would do that to a kid like you? Yes!
There's an old adage that says painting is 90% preparation. That's the best reason I know to shop Orchard. Everything you need to do the job right is right here. One stop. Orchard, complete hardware and garden.
Now at Orchard, find the Wagner Heavy Duty Power Painter Kit, just $85.99. And find Alex Plus Acrylic Latex Caulk plus Silicone from DAP, now $1.49. Orchard, complete hardware and garden.
Beyond any nightmare you have imagined.
She doesn't even want to leave the house.
Beyond any terror you have known.
It's like she's waiting for something.
Beyond any fear you have ever felt. There is still one horror You will pray to survive. Hellraiser, there are no limits. Rated R.
Our first matchup sees the San Diego State Aztecs taking on the Boise State Broncos. Now, the Aztecs do come into this game with a 3-4 record. They've had a few close losses, but most of them have actually been blowouts. And in a way, this is kind of disappointing for a team that once had aspirations of joining the Pac-12. Well, the real Pac-12. Now, San Diego State does have a pretty decent running attack, and this could be used to maybe help slow the Broncos down as long as they play the time of possession game. But that is highly unlikely. Because, let's face it, Boise State is probably the team with the best chance of being the non-Power 5 representative in the college football playoff, and that's all due to one name, Ashton Jeanty. Yes, the Broncos running back is definitely breaking records and is now a very dark horse Heisman candidate. And he provides the type of run power that allows quarterback Maddox Madsen to provide a steady-handed offense. Now, the defense can get kind of hit and miss. I mean, when they've played a lot of their top-line opponents like Oregon and UNLV, they've struggled. In the end, though, the Broncos are a better team. They're going to win this game rather handily. It's probably going to be a major blowout, so yeah, Boise State will win this one.
Ooh, I've seen lots of scary things, but nothing gives me nightmares like spooky bed springs. This weekend, treat your family to the best in beds. Water beds from the bedroom at bewitching savings. Like kids' water beds from only $159. Waveless Soma beds from $249. And my favorite, Black Lager, just $259. Financing's easy as pie. Ooh, did I say pie? Don't let spring spook your nights. Save big on the best in beds. Through Monday only at the bedroom.
Behold my most horrifying creation. Graveyard Ghoulies. Creeping forward. Squeeze the colored goop into the mold, or use glow goop and out pop body parts. Stomach, heart, brain. It's Graveyard Ghoulies. Graveyard Ghoulies are a creepy crawler fright, so beware of what happens at night. Creepy crawlers. Creepy Crawlers Workshop. Your parents put it together. Light bulb not included. Graveyard Ghoulies mold pack and glow goop each sold separately.
Now, from Milton Bradley, a weird game, Voice of the Mummy. Press the button. From within the tomb, the mummy speaks.
Look out! The unholy snakes of Aemon reach from below. Move up one level.
Each player tries to capture the sacred scarab. He who collects the most jewels wins. The Voice of the Mummy, the electric sound game from Milton Bradley.
Our next matchup sees the Oregon Ducks taking on the Michigan Wolverines. Now, the Ducks have rebounded from their very slow start this season and are now the number one team in the country thanks to a major victory over Ohio State. Dylan Gabriel is now putting up some major numbers, which has probably made him the second leading Heisman candidate behind Cam Ward. Still, I do think there are some lingering questions involving the Ducks' defense, particularly when they play against a team that runs the ball really well, like, say, Michigan. Now, the Wolverines have been steady, but rather flawed, having lost 2 of their last 3 against the likes of Washington and Illinois. Still, though, Michigan's strength is in running the ball, and if they play ball control well enough, that should help keep them in this game. That, ironically enough, Ohio State fans are probably going to want them to win, given that they probably now have to beat Penn State to have any shot at making the Big Ten title game. That being said, Oregon is a little too hot right now, and they're probably going to wind up pulling away and winning this one rather handily by a couple possessions. So, yeah, the Ducks will probably win this one.
There's a bit of witch in you because you've bewitched me.
The Legend. Sleepy Hollow. Rated R. Now playing in theaters everywhere.
Of over 100 years, there were actual recorded werewolf sightings about every day and a half.
What are you talking about? I'm me, Fruit Brute, with my fruit-flavored cereal, Fruit Brute, part of your nutritious breakfast. Fool on you! But delicious Fruit Brute has fruit-flavored marshmallows for the howling good taste of fruit.
Count Chocula's got chocolate marshmallows.
Frankenberry's got strawberry-flavored marshmallows.
Fruit Brute, with the howling good taste of fruit.
Welcome to my creepy Play-Doh party. Ooh.
It's the Play-Doh.
Saturday on Hunter, a double murder.
Think he just goes out and executes them?
And the killer wants more.
Who's in here?
Don't move. Saturday.
There's going to be some new rules around here when Charlton Heston hosts Saturday Night Live.
Our third game is the game that used to be called the world's largest outdoor cocktail party until the dangers of binge drinking became more publicly known. By which, of course, I mean it's Florida and Georgia facing each other in Jacksonville. Now, the Bulldogs have recovered from their early season loss to Alabama and just took down Texas along the way, so they're definitely right back in the college football playoff picture and are pretty likely to make the SEC championship game at this point. Trevor Etienne has finally bolstered up the Bulldogs' running attack, which has taken a lot of the weight off of Carson Beck's shoulders. That being said, I do think Georgia is still mainly led by their defense here. Now, Florida has managed to play well at times this season, but overall they have struggled, particularly against top-flight opponents. Yeah, they did take Tennessee to the limit, but again, that was a Tennessee team I think was looking ahead to Alabama. I don't think that had much to do with Florida's overall skill. Like I said, they go up against these top-flight teams and come short. Yeah, they beat the likes of Kentucky and Samford, but they're supposed to kind of beat those programs. On the plus side, I do think, again, Billy Napier is playing with house money. His job is over even if he beats Georgia, so there's a chance they might have a shot here, but no, I overall, the Bulldogs will probably blow out the Gators here. They're going to win this one rather handily. It's not going to be really that close.
Now that we have frequent traveler programs for business, pleasure, old and young, we thought it was time we had a new sign. Your best bet is a Best Western.
We, Alice and Michael, have something for you. The Grand Prospect Hall.
Distinctly elegant yet affordable. Glamour and romance, illustrious weddings, fancy balls and banquets.
Have an affair here at prices that make sense. The grand entrance for brides and grooms.
We make your dreams come true.
The Grand Prospect Hall, minutes away in Brooklyn, 718-788-0777.
I love him, I love him, I love him, and where he goes I'll follow, I'll follow, I'll follow.
Can a dad keep his girls from growing up?
Having fun?
And not burst their bubble?
I want to experience the beauty of love and passion.
Does that have any particular meaning?
I love him, I love him.
Rags to Riches follows our house Sunday.
Tuesday, there's hijinks on the hill.
This is your last chance. Are you going to come down?
The tricks life plays at us.
But this time the fun could be fatal.
Robbery in progress, possible hostage situation. Can anybody do anything?
Call 911. Tell them to send an ambulance.
The Hill needs a hero.
Everybody up!
An all-new Hill Street Blues, Tuesday.
Moving on to the NFL side, we have the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns are coming off a very surprising victory over the Ravens. Jameis Winston put up decent numbers against the Ravens, and it does seem to have instilled a lot of confidence in the Browns' offense. Probably not enough to really turn the season around. Yes, the defense is still playing really well, though the full impact of the loss involving linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah has yet to truly be determined. On the plus side, Owusu-Koramoah was having feeling in his extremities recently, so he seems to be okay. It's just unknown as to whether or not he'll be able to play anytime soon. Now, the Chargers have rebounded from their loss to the Cardinals a couple weeks ago with a nice victory over the Saints, but that's not really saying much now, is it? The Chargers' run game is still playing pretty well, which has helped because their pass game is still struggling. I noticed, I think it was during the Cardinals game, it looked like Justin Herbert may have injured his hand at some point. I don't know if it's still injured, still dogging him, or, again, if this is just a lingering problem. Thankfully, the Chargers defense has been picking up the slack. Now the Chargers are going to have the big time differential here as they're playing a very early game on their biological clocks. However, I do think it's not going to be that much of an effect. The Browns, they played nice. Maybe they could keep this close, but in the end, I think the Chargers are going to pull away late and get the victory here. So yeah, Chargers to win.
The shape. The face. The town. The night. 10 years later. He's back. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Now playing. Check your local listings.
If you're staying home this Halloween, you can still scare up all the thrills you need with Disney's Toy Story on video. It's not for the squeamish. And it's not for the weak-hearted.
I don't believe that man's ever been to medical school.
Because the movie you've been waiting to get is the video that's just dying to get to you.
So play nice.
Disney's Toy Story on video October 29th. Rated G.
Late in the afternoon, a strange hunger comes over Steve. Without his trusty Kellogg's Pop-Tarts to ward off the effects, he changes into the chocolate-craving monster. What can stop its feeding frenzy? Kellogg's Chocolate Fudge Pop-Tarts. Awesome pastries oozing with fudgy filling, or s'mores with gooey marshmallow lurking inside. Unable to resist, the creature sinks its teeth in within seconds. Steve is his former self.
Thanks, little buddy.
You have to be so dramatic about everything.
Kellogg's Pop-Tarts, it's the monster snack!
Our next matchup has the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles have definitely picked things up as A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith have come back from injury, and Saquon Barkley is definitely running the ball a lot better, which has helped open up the passing attack. And the defense has stepped up quite a bit too, causing quite a few turnovers, which has aided in blowout victories over the Giants, Browns, and Jets. That being said, I do think there's danger of that injury bug coming back to bite them again, as Nick Sirianni can be kind of full of himself sometimes and not realize that there maybe is a point where you need to call off the dogs. Now, admittedly, the Jacksonville Jaguars have played pretty well over the last few weeks, coming up with victories over Indianapolis and New England, and falling just short against Green Bay. Tank Bigsby has been running the ball really well, however, it seems the injury bug has really bit them at wide receiver, which is going to put a lot more as Christian Kirk is now out for the season, and that's going to wind up putting a lot more stress on Brian Jones Jr. and Evan Ingram to step up and aid Trevor Lawrence. So, yeah, I don't think Jacksonville's going to win this one. I'm guessing the Eagles probably win this one pretty big time. I'm guessing this could be a 20-point victory. I mean, I'm not putting too much faith in the Jaguars here.
I come to nature to keep my skin soft. I come to Jergens Aloe and Lanolin Skin Conditioning Bar. It helps keep the natural softness, the natural smoothness of my whole body.
Jergens Aloe and Lanolin Skin Conditioning Bar. When winter skin gets dry, drench your dryness in Jergens Aloe and Lanolin Lotion. Aloe from the aloe vera plant and lanolin in one lotion to help heal dry, chapped skin. Jergens Aloe and Lanolin. Therapy for winter skin.
Something about that face.
Introducing Spooky Goop, horrifying monster makeup you make up at home. Spooky Goop's bubbling lizard lips, bat bones, and toad toes create a ghoulish goo that makes a monster out of you.
Now that's a face no mother could love.
Spooky Goop, spine-tingling makeup for Halloween or any unearthly occasion.
Me wants her big kids meal.
Not so fast, Harry.
I'll get your double cheeseburger yet.
And Toto keeps screaming into Burger King.
Now in every big kid's meal, there's a Hamtaro toy. You can put on their mask and have a Halloween blast. There's 8 in all, only at Burger King.
Our final matchup sees the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. And yeah, the Chiefs are undefeated still. They've definitely beefed up their wide receiver core in the last few weeks, mainly by trading for DeAndre Hopkins, though they also signed Juju Smith-Schuster, who won a Super Bowl with them last time, so it's able to maybe balance things out on the wide receiver core. They still also run the ball very well, and of course their defense is playing at a high level, which is basically why they're still undefeated at this point. Now, the Buccaneers have lost 2 straight and 3 of their last 5, with the injury bug biting hard, particularly in the wide receiving core, as both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are going to miss a lot of time. Now, the Buccaneers did play very well against the Falcons last week. However, that could just be because the Falcons have a tendency to just falcon all over the place. And to be honest, I could see this being the type of scenario where maybe, just maybe, they could come up and play the Chiefs really well and sneak away with a victory, but yeah, I just don't have that kind of faith in them. Right now, they're too banged up. They'll put up a really good fight, but in the end, I think Kansas City will pull away. They'll get the victory here, so no real shock. The Chiefs are going to remain undefeated. All right, after the break, we'll wrap things up and get a little bit into the further scheduling.
Over here, I'm a boglin. Me and my buddies need a place to hide out. Come a little closer. Oh, did I scare you? Oh, I do that so well. If you take us home, we'll kiss your Aunt Martha. We'll eat your peas. And we hope you know lots of girls. Hey, the name's Boglins, each sold separately, and we're looking for good homes. Maybe yours?
Sunday, Boomer and the Jets face Marino and the Dolphins in a battle of undefeateds. Or the Raiders face the Broncos for regional action. Sunday on NBC.
5-time Emmy winner Frasier moves to NBC Tuesdays.
Must-see TV.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone. It's not just must-see TV. It's Sneak Preview Thursday.
Get out.
First, an extra, early Seinfeld at 8, 7 Central. Plus a special sneak preview of the Martin Short Show. You never know who's going to show up. Then another Seinfeld.
Holy cow!
Followed by Frasier. Gilbert, Cicely Tyson, the sneak preview of Sweet Justice. After Seinfeld, Martin Short, another Seinfeld, and Frasier. NBC Thursday.
Monday, NBC previews the one show critics are calling the best new drama, a place where doctors become heroes. ER previews Monday at 9, 8 Central on NBC.
Okay, so to wrap things up, I like Boise State over San Diego State, Oregon over Michigan, and Georgia over Florida. Then on the NFL side, I like the Los Angeles Chargers over the Cleveland Browns, the Philadelphia Eagles over the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Kansas City Chiefs over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, so as we head into the college football postseason, the schedule is going to wind up changing. Basically, we're going to be covering a whole lot of games, and it's going to be too much to try to do into one video. So I'll be splitting them up, and they'll have some college football-only videos and some NFL-only videos. So, for example, the Army-Navy game and then the conference championship game lineup, when all that takes place, that's going to be its own separate video. That's not going to be with an NFL video at all. Likewise, we're going to have our non-college football playoff bowl preview, which is also going to be its own separate video. There'll be a separate NFL predictions video again for that one. Now then, we are not covering all of the non-college football playoff bowl games. That would just take forever. That being said, we are doing a very hefty little lineup, which includes the LA Bowl presented by Gronk, the Cure Bowl, the Hawaii Bowl, the Pop-Tarts Bowl, the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice Energy Drink, the First Responder Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and the Bahamas Bowl. Now, of course, we will also be covering the college football playoff games that are also bowl games, which are the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, but we'll be covering those when their respective times come up. Okay, so the next video is going to be the random trade review on Ben Reilly's Spider-Man. Okay, so the next week's football predictions will be Rice versus Memphis, Miami of Florida versus Georgia Tech, and Florida State versus Notre Dame. Then on the NFL side, we'll have Buffalo versus Indianapolis, Philadelphia versus Dallas, and Detroit versus Houston. And then the Week 12 predictions are Wyoming versus Colorado State, Arizona State versus Kansas State, and Alabama Birmingham versus Memphis. Then on the NFL side, we have Baltimore versus Pittsburgh, Seattle versus San Francisco, and Indianapolis versus the New York Jets. Yeah, like I said earlier, as we get towards the end of the season, we're going to be having a lot of teams appearing on here back-to-back, especially as games take on greater importance, particularly in terms of the NFL playoff picture. I mean, I try to get these out in advance as best as I can, but again, it's kind of hard to tell whether or not a team is necessarily going to be contenders or not, which is kind of why we're covering that Colts-Jets game. Anyway, see you all next time. Hey guys, remember that you can support my work at patreon.com/sleepytimeforcat productions. Also, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, and ring that notification bell so that way you can be alerted to further videos.